The Square Ball Podcast.
And that's why we never won an away game following season.
yeah, probably, yeah. So when you got, because I think there was a sense then everybody knew, sort of deep down, there was a real growing sense that day when that final whistle went. Because I was there, I was in the away end, and I was, funnily enough, I was right down at the very, very front. So I was kind of below pitch level, so my eyes were grass level.
Yeah.
So I saw close up the goals that happened in front of the away end.
Yeah.
I remember that there was just a real sense that we'd probably done it that day. And driving back up the M1, it was about an hour back up the M1.
Yep.
It was like a big party convoy, and like people were playing marching on together in the cars with the windows down, and everyone was beeping their horns, you know, like that, and other people would go. Buh.
I remember me and Mick like hugging each other. And I went to the manager, and it's just more or less, this was him still being his professional. So, we haven't won out yet. We haven't done out yet. Like, all right, you know what I mean? So, but me and Mick, as you said, me and Mick, and we just like, but it was a win. To go there and win. We couldn't, the main thing was, at that point, we're 4 points ahead of Man United, right? We're 4 points ahead. So that means to say, even though we didn't know whether we'd win it that day, it was in our hands to win it the following. That was the main thing, I think, more than anything. Without getting too blasé and so we'll win it today because Man United have to go to Liverpool and things like that. I think it was just that, that at least it was in our hands.
Finally, because they had the games in hand the way through.
That's right. Yeah. So at least it was in our hands to win it the following week against Norwich.
Yeah.
Right. I think that was the thing, like, more than anything. Well, that was just, we had it in our hands then.
Yeah.
Regardless of what Man United did. Yeah, they did win at Liverpool, but at least it was still in our hands to win it. Yeah. And of course, as you know, it was Fergie before that. Now they're ahead. Have they got the nerve to keep it, to go on and win the what they call it, like, and that one. And as you said, and so again, it just shows you when it's your day. Ian Rush scored his first ever goal against Liverpool, against Man United that day for Liverpool. Little things like that, little quirks like that. Like Rush had never scored against Man United before, and then he scored early on, and that like. So obviously we're all having bits of drinks and one thing and another on the thing, and I had to ring my nephew up, come and pick me up because I won't be able to drive like I did at Bournemouth, and Philip and that like. And so and then of course as it turned out, I'm nearly half falling asleep. I went to my sister's house just to sober up, and in Bradford, and we get to Putsey roundabout, to just above Dawson Corner there.
Yeah.
And we're just going round there, and they scored the second goal.
Right.
With about 2 minutes to go. And my nephew.
So you were in the car when it happened, basically?
Yeah, I was in the car, and my nephew said, Uncle Alan. I said, what? He said, I think you just won Championship. He said, Walters, who just scored for Liverpool. He said, I think you just won Championship, and he scored the second of Liverpool. I've done. I'm not about actually, I've done. You know what I mean? And then every time we got to my sister's, the game were all over, and we won the Championship. So it was like, I think the only sad thing was, it'd been nice to win at home, and then we're all in the dressing room together and all being able to sell it. Everybody just went and did it. I mean, a lot of them went to Blind Pizza and things like that, and so everybody liked splitting and everything like, I always remember on we got in, obviously, me and Mick seeing each other on the Monday, and because obviously it was a Sunday game, and we're like, yes, we've done it, pal, you know what I mean? And I don't know about the manager, I don't know if he came in, but I always remember on the Tuesday, we went to Liverpool, reserves, right, to play reserves. So the manager pulled me and said, here, I want you, make sure that Ronnie Madan and Roy Evans gets these, and they give me 2 cases of champagne for them. I remember that. I said, Ronnie, Gaffer sent you these. And he sent two cases of champagne. He said, just say thank you for what they did for us on Sunday.
When did the squad all get back together then after? Because as you said, everyone was kind of split up for the actual crowning of it, apart from the few that were on the sofa together. Yeah,
I think they might have been in on the Tuesday or something like that, because obviously we've still got a game to play, haven't we? On the Saturday. I think it was just back to normal. And obviously by that time, everybody's chilled out and everybody's, what they call it, really.
Has Wilco allowed a bit more of the Sheridan lifestyle to kick in that week, or is it still?
No, I think life. Look, as far as he was concerned, let's just get the season finished. Let's just get it all done. Let's go out on a high. Win. And as you know, Rob Wallace scored early on against Norwich, and then it was just a matter of getting.
It was a carnival that day, wasn't it? It was just the football was almost a distraction.
Yeah, it is, for me personally. It was also me. It was May the 2nd. It was also my sister's birthday, and it was also the only time my mum ever went to a football match to watch where I was involved with. And obviously we're getting photographs taken on the pitch with a trophy and things like that. And it's the only time that she'd ever been, and that was unfortunately a couple of years after that. Unfortunately, passed away, But so really, I was pleased. And I think I got tickets for my mum, my sister, and my nephew. My brother-in-law stayed at home to look after my nephew's girl, Susanna, and then my nephew and his wife Wendy. She wrote all the book for us, and they were all there to enjoy it, celebrate with us.
Did you all manage to have a collective celebration in the club then after the Norwich game?
Yeah. I think there's a picture in there. Well, actually, Andrew Varley, right? I found a picture that never got printed, and it's in there. And we're in the dressing room afterwards. I think Wilco's pouring champagne, or I'm doing champagne or whatever. He's what they call it, and John Newsom's then. We've got the trophy on the table. What you always have this big table in the middle of the treatment room, with these solid legs, which obviously ties in with the story in Oxford back in 1989 season. You'll have to read about that one. That involves Howard Wilkinson about a table in Oxford, right? And that but look, we all just had photographs taken with a cup, with trophy and everything, and. Yeah, it was just great. I had to check with my son, and then next day, of course, which is on back of there, we all had the parade round. We're all at the town hall, and they're all were about 150,000 in square,
Yeah.
And they're all. I remember seeing some Norwegian lads, who I got to know a little bit, and they were there, and then afterwards, which I've got on back of the book, is a picture of me and the family. On the pitch with a trophy and everything, and everybody had them done, but it's great, and it's great memories, and that's when it was the first division trophy.
Yeah.
What the great Liverpools and everybody had won, it's which, as I said, just fantastic 3 years, or even during that time. Look, it wasn't easy behind the scenes. It was everything very, very professional. I suppose what you won, which I'm pleased for every Leeds United supporter, is they won the trophies, they won thing, and it was great. But at the same time, you missed the Billy era as well, because the laughter, the fun, and thinking. So this was a really, and as I put, the Norwegian society, supporters from Scandinavia got in touch with me about them, and they sent me a thing and said, "Well, which were your favourite managers and all that?" I said, "Well, obviously Billy." I said, but Howard Wilkinson put Leeds United back to where they belonged, and it needed someone like an Howard Wilkinson with his thing. And again, I think because it was an outsider coming in, a bit like me, I wasn't a Leeds supporter going in.
Who did you grow up supporting, sorry?
Well, Bradford City, obviously, I used to follow all over the place, right? And then I got into really great players, what I loved. And Man United at that time, I know everybody else, but Man United, but with Duncan Edwards. And then the player of Pollard, but it wasn't because he went to Man United. The player of Pollard, who I really loved watching, because I first came across him at Huddersfield Town with Dennis Law. And then I followed his career. And then I was fortunate to meet him at Big John's funeral. But also at that era as well, another great era, back in the 50s, was John Charles. Mm-hmm. John, I remember going to his last, mum and dad took me to his last game, where you're on about age you were. I was only, 1956, I'd be 10 years old. And they took me to his last game against Sunderland down here at Ellen Road. Yeah. I remember that. And then, like I put in the book, I knew the thought 30 years later, I'm having fish and chips with him on a Friday, and him telling me about his great days at Juventus. Yeah. And then, of course, he had that great, which... I think you mentioned it, Michael, about Vinnie Brockie when they had for a testimonial for John Charles and Bobby Collins when obviously they had Platini and all them playing. Yeah, I got his autograph that day, Platini. Did you really? I did, yeah. And I've got his shirt. Yep. And I've also got his autograph on it because Eric Cantona took it to Wembley when they were manager of France in 1992, and he got it to sign it for me. So I've got Platini's shirt from that because in them days. People forget I was a kit man, right, as well as a physio. Yep. Up to them first 3 years, I had to do the kit on the match day. So after the game, I was collecting all the kit in as well as doing the treatment as well. So that's how it was in them days. You know what I mean? It's it's interesting, isn't it? The parallels between what Wilkinson did. You said it needed that outside voice to come in and just change things at Leeds, and there are real parallels with Bielsa, aren't there? About he came in with his own ideas and said, "I'm the boss. This is how it's got to be." Yeah. From what I know, like I said, I only came across him once when I was training ground talking to Calvin Phillips, because obviously I'd known Calvin since he was 17, 18, just before I left Leeds, and we became good friends. And as you said, it came in the number of managers it had in, for which, as writing the book, we had like the revolving door up at Thorpe Arch, and it just seemed to go on and on revolving. A manager would be there for about 3 or 4 weeks, and then he'd be out this way, and somebody else is coming in the other way. During that period of after when the manager Salinio, when he came in, that time, not the best of time really.
No.
But anyway, look, first 16 years at Leeds United, 4 managers. Then after that, they seemed, and of course, whenever, when it all went a bit pear-shaped, when Peter obviously made his famous words, we lived a dream, and we did. And then everybody lived a nightmare after it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially, and I'm talking about, I know the fans would have it, but you had to be working up at Thorpe Arch, and the people behind the scenes, in the offices, the canteen, Isabel and Lado and all these people. And, you really felt for them, because obviously you're going to sleep and you don't know whether you're going to have a job or you're going to you have any money at the end of the week, Yeah. Because that's how bad it really, people don't realise what it's like. And that's why I wrote in my book as well, if I can just say.
Yeah.
That's why I know people still hammer Alan Smith, right, for going to Man United. But as he told me, and he rang me, I was on the motorway coming up from Bristol to see some friends with my wife. He rang me, he said, Alan, I'll sign for Man United, but I'll tell you now, because the money what they've got for me, if that had been Portsmouth, West Ham, anybody who paid that money, right, would have paid, I'd have signed for anybody just to make sure Leeds United were saved. That was his first, because he's Leeds United through and through.
I mean, you must have some good memories from before it all went bad, like the European times, because it catapulted us to a different level, didn't it?
Listen, it is, I suppose we're a bit like Portsmouth. Portsmouth ended up winning the cup with probably money they didn't have at the time, really, But no, listen, you can't take that away. And as a fan, if you're a fan, you must have loved it. I mean, all the tricks what we had and everything what we got, it was fun. I mean, we were going in planes, right? Honestly. I'll tell you what, I remember one time when we got beat by Valencia. We were on a plane coming back. And I remember David Batty sat in the seat, and Alan Smith, he sat facing him with his back against another seat. That's how big a room you had. Yeah. You had about you had these 747s or whatever, and they were more or less just like 28 seats, and all the rest were lounges. You know what I mean? And it was like, but the money, you just can't believe it, the money what they laid, they laid out for them. It was, they did live the dream, but the same time.
But nice to be on the inside and enjoying that. I mean, not like.
Listen, it was fantastic. I mean, look, I remember Eddie Gray saying to me, right, when we used to travel, he said, Alan, he said, there's nothing like the European nights, even when I was a player. It's a totally different night altogether. And he was right. You're playing AC Milan, Real Madrid, Barcelona. You've got, you're playing all these, and the thing, and obviously what I remember a little bit more about it is, he had also, which I was involved a little bit with, he had the Boyer and Woodgate case going on at the same time. So whereas Woody were all right for the first lot, the second lot, obviously, he thinks, but Lee Boyer, have you ever seen a player play better after being in court all day? It was like as if it something released with him. I remember him coming down the tunnel, lads are coming in from having afternoon sleep, getting himself sorted out, and he's walking in after being in court all day. I'd be getting him beans on toast. Come on, Lee. Let's get beans on toast. Beans on toast for someone to eat. And he'd go out there like AC Milan and scores winning goal for you. Yeah. Against AC Milan, and it was just like, it was just unreal. What we're, and this is what I'm saying, that crazy, crazy time at what was happening round about there, everything. But also, I'm thinking the other day, which I haven't really put in the book, if you looked at the club, Leeds United, and obviously you've got to say Howard Wilkinson was the architect of it. If you look at the from 1990 to 2000, nearly every team at Leeds United were winning something. The first team 1992, the youth team 93, winning Youth Cup, and then you go in then a bit. Then we call it after having a poor season, and whether Howard Wilkinson today, like what happened at Leicester, would have survived that second season after winning the championship. Because we're only 2 points from getting relegated that year. Yeah. I know we got there two games before when we knew we'd be safe. but would he have survived as a manager today? You know, in today's life.
Yeah, probably not.
You know, like what happened at Leicester with Roger.
Yeah.
And then from there, then we qualified then for Europe again. We played at Monaco with Yeboah and everybody.
Yeboah.
Right? Oh, yeah. I saw him in a different light than what probably the supporters and everybody else seen him.
What light did you see Tony Yeboah in then?
Yeboah, if you could get him fit, we got him fit for one season, probably, right? And he probably played about a season and a half. That first season, he scored goals. And what he did, he like side-footed it into the net, a bit like an old Jimmy Greaves, past keeper downside the thing. The second season, as you know, Liverpool, Wimbledon, and just smashed them in and things like that. But I remember when he first came, a bit like Baduka actually. I remember the first game, right, his fitness was weirder. And so me and Mick Hennigan and the manager had been running around the track at Ellen Road to get some fitness into him.
Right.
I'd take him down this side, then Mick would take him down that side, the manager would take it to get some fitness into him. And Baduka was the same actually when he first came, like, you know. And then, but like I said, once he got fit, and he got himself fit. And the thing is also, what I wrote in the book, he would never play. If you ever saw him in pre-season, you say, well, he's useless. You know, he had this thing. He once did his medial ligament, he told me, in pre-season game. And after that, he played, but he never went out of his way to do anything that were going to put him under pressure. But when we went to West Ham that first game, because that pre-season, thought, is he ready for it? You know, is he ready? Once that gun went off, we went to West Ham, he scored both goals with 1-2-1.
And that volley as well.
And that volley.
Yeah,
That on the Monday after the West Ham, I think, wasn't it?
What was it? Oh, I don't know, there was so many of them.
On the
Liverpool.
there was a West Ham one. It was open day. More or less took the back of the net off with that one as well. It was McCloskey in net. And
It might have been a half volley, mightn't it?
He
Yeah.
just sort of stands and looks at it and goes, well, I couldn't even see that.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. But once that gun went, you saw a different person. You know what I mean?
It's like, was it like a switch going off then when he got out there?
Yeah, like I said, it would alter. I asked him, why? Well, I mean, pre-season, this is when you try and get your fitness, try and get your game time. No. He said, no. He said, I got injured my knee. No, I do not play pre-season. That's when I got injured. And I missed.
Is there anything you can do? I say you as a physio, but there's also Howard as the manager. Is there anything you can do about that, or is it just a case of, well, do you know what? If that's what he's going to be like, if he keeps scoring, we just leave him alone.
Precisely. It's like, but that's it. I think precisely that's what it. And look, that's the pre-season now to get. What counts is that once that gun goes off, beginning of the season, that's what counts. You can win 7, 8, whatever you want pre-season. It's what counts when that gun goes off. And that was him. And as you said, I think there was an interview. You'll have to look at this. I'm sure. I'm trying to remember it. When he scored the hat-trick at Wimbledon, right down at Selhurst Park, right. And I always remember he did an interview afterwards, and it's like, Tony, what about that second goal? You know what really took off? And they both, yes. Today, before I left, my wife said to me, Tony, I would like you to score a goal for me today. So I scored 3 goals for her today. And it was something like that interview. Was going, what? You know what I mean? It was so. Honestly, he was something else, you know. And I've wrote 1 or 2 other little stories about him, like, and in the book. And but he was once you got him fit. But once his fitness went, then you know what I mean.
Was that why George Graham never used him? Really, just couldn't get him fit enough.
Well, yeah, and it was. Well, I'd take him running. Like, we used to have a little thing, the Spofford railway track down between Wetherby and Spofford. It was like, all the runs I did, it were all measured out, time, everything. I remember measuring it, it was like 2 3/4 miles, right, from where the old shed thing was out to Spofford. And then 2 3/4 miles back, right? Yeah. So get out. So what it was, everybody run together, out, you know, and then everybody for himself coming back. Well, Tony, I mean, I must have been 40 years older than him. Well, he's just dancing back he's just dancing. I said, hey, you're supposed to be getting past me. Oh, yeah, I'm right. And you're not sort of like no wheeling, but we're already half a mile further down your legs, you know what I mean? He just like danced back, like, you know, he just like, it was. But every dinner time, it used to be him, Phil Singer, and Lucas Adebe, and they all used to have the meals together, like, you know what I mean? And they had that pact, like, you know. That's why when they played in African nations, right, when Lucas really shouldn't have played, but anyway, that's another story with Wilkinson. But when he'd done his ACL and then he'd come back. Anyway, and I still say today, because you know what a great finisher he was, you know, Yeboah. Well, in that semi-final, they played Ghana, and I think Lucas slipped and Yeboah's gone past, and he's missed. He's actually missed the target. And you say, Lucas, you know, Tony Yeboah never misses the target. But I think, and I'm not sure with Tony, I'm not sure whether how much football really meant to him.
Right.
It was just easy for him. You know, it was just like, you know, he just played. And it was just,
because it was a God-given talent for Yeboah, wasn't it? That's the thing. You watched him finish, and it looked like it was the easiest thing in the world because it was brilliant.
It was, you know. Honestly, it was, and I have to wonder, you know.
Did it come too easy to him? Maybe.
I don't know. It's. I think life, you know, just life was how it was. You know, it's. And obviously, I write in there about what happened on Cup Final Day, League Cup Final Day. You know, about, you know, I don't know if you've seen the article where he pulls me before the start of the game, half hour, kicking off at 5 o'clock. 4:30 he pulls me and said, Alan, my knee's not right good. Right? And I'm going, what? You know what I mean? So I thought, because Jeff was in charge then, Jeff Ladley, and also Wilkinson, I thought, oh. So what I did, I eventually said, look, go out there, start the game, see how we go. Right? Start, and then after 10 minutes, whatever, if it's not right, go down. I'll prime Jeff, let him know that you might have a little problem with your knee. We'd already got Brian Dean and I think Thomas Brolin on the bench that day. So I said, you know what I mean, I'm sure I can think from there. As it turns out, he played the full game. So I don't know. And do you say, what it nerves, well, he's played in, you know, in all the international matches and all that. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know he ended up, I know we're rubbish on the day, like, you know what I mean? But
what was it like that day? Because, I mean, you mentioned Brolin being on the bench. I can remember the fans singing, why is Brolin on the bench? And
it turned on Wilco that day, wasn't it?
That day, and I wrote in the book, and look, as I wrote in the book, I didn't always get on with Howard Wilkinson. We had his, you know, issues, right? That's why I'm always saying that, even today, I was still amazed I lasted 8 years with him. But also, David Webber always said, well, loyalty was a great thing. And as a physio, right, you do become friends with players, but you've always got to keep that little distance. You're always working for the manager, right? Anything I can find or anything I can drop him in what might just solve a problem without it gets out of hand, then you're there for the manager, you're there for it. And that, for me, is the best way for the team, you know, going things, and you just observe without... You know, thing from there, and that's what... So
if you've spotted something, maybe a little conversation happen, you might just relate to the manager.
Just certain things that you might, you know what I mean. Just, and I'll give him his credit. Whatever it was, or there was an issue, it never went back to me. He never did it straight away. He just waited his time, and like I said, with the captain, whoever the captain was, he had to have this relationship. So. They had this, you know, so they were the captain on the, you know, they were the manager on the field, he was the manager off the field. And he was very, very good, you know, certain things like that, like, you know, so I can't take anything away. And going back to the beginning, as you said with Bielsa, maybe that's what it needed. I mean, everybody gutted that Billy got, and as I put in the book, somewhat what happened that the day that Billy got fired, something happened I don't think it has ever happened in football since. And that is the chairman, Mr. Silver, who for me, till today, was probably the best chairman ever at Leeds United. He had me in his office to explain why they sacked Billy Bremner. Now, most chairmans nowadays wouldn't even know who the physio, but that's how the club was.
Yeah.
Everybody knew everybody at that club. I mean, we talk about the days when, like, John Ray, God bless him, you know, he passed away some years ago, Don Waters, everybody was on that team coach. Chairman, directors. I often think, what must have had today, like, you've got about 2 or 3 coaches taking the staff and everybody.
Yeah.
On that coach, and we'd always playing cards.
Yeah.
I always remember, like, Billy, me coming from Halifax Town, and we had Jim who used to get on and used to do your steak and chips with your peas and gatto, and he'd be serving everybody. And you come back, say, like, from Plymouth. But in the end, Billy used to say, right, Jim, we're all in pigs. Instead of having steak and chips and all this, we want steak sandwiches. because it's interfering with the card game. So you'll have your steak get sandwiches instead.
And these days they're all having individual nutritional plans and all that sort of stuff, aren't they?
But also, like I said to me, Don Water thing and it was just and the power what they had. And to be fair, they were obviously Leeds United through and through in lots of ways. And Billy, I think, after one particular game, when we got a really heavy hammer, he said, right, you two, and me and Dave Bentley, who were the assistant manager, were in his office, right? And he said to John and to Don, he said, right, this is a title I want put on paper tomorrow. Right, I'm apologising to... It's when we got beat 7-2 at Stoke. Yep. He said, I'm apologising to the fans and everything, so I want this. And he was dictating what he wanted for the thing. And I know Revy really did have this.
He managed his press, didn't he? Very, very carefully.
Yeah, and they what they call it. So they wanted... And plus... Great, they were allowed to run the course because you get some reporter probably going on. I remember it being at Halifax Town Rail I was reporting on, but then he's earwigging to all what's going on, and then he's printing little things,
right.
And so, but these, they were so professional. They were here. The players were at back. They were here, and that was it. And they only printed they print what the game was like they normally would, but then like title and things like that. But they would never ever. Think about printing something a little bit of gossip or all like that. They were very professional that way.
So I was going to say 1996 then, when just going back to the League Cup final, when the wheels start to come off for Howard Wilkinson. Yeah. Was there a sense that was happening inside the club?
Yeah,
had the atmosphere changed? Yeah,
that day, and again in my book I put, I'm sat behind the manager, and he looked like a broken man. The way the fans reacted, and what I think for me, what they forget is. Look what it took to get there. Now, on the day, nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen on the day. You just have and Villa did have a great track record at Wembley in the League Cup finals and in no, on the day, nobody. And people, it's like as if Villa didn't exist with the players. Oh, well, they're not as good as us. But, they had a very, very good side. Villa. People don't realise what a good side they had, that day. And like I said, the way they forget, we got through all them rounds, semi-final, everything to get there. And on the day, nobody knows.
The fact that it was a 5 o'clock kickoff probably didn't help, and everyone was boozing all day.
Yeah. You're probably right. You're probably right. You've been drinking all day, one thing or another. And if you look really, and I remember my friend Harvey Sharman, who became head physio. Now Harvey's a big Chelsea supporter, and one day. I've been doing some treatment with Mick Jones, the centre, and Mick's, great fella, Mick, and great chatting with and everything. And as he come down, I said to Mick, "Oh, this is Harvey," he was head physio by then, right? This is Harvey. I said, "Big Chelsea supporter," and Mick said, "Tell you what, could always beat him in league, but could never beat him in cup."
Yeah.
And if you look at Leeds' cup record over the years. We won FA Cup, we won the League Cup. But, look how many final or look what they've done with the Revy, what they've lost. They've never really, for me, been a cup team, if you understand what. We've always been like a marathon team. See out season, see out, grind them results out. And that's how I've always, looking, in some ways, as an outsider looking in some ways, looking back at the track record from there.
A couple of European semis, but domestically, waste of time every year. Out third round every year, isn't it?
But you're right, though. We have always tended to grind, and it's always been difficult as well, but we've ground out. You think back, that promotion season was a grind. Winning the title, we had to dig in towards the end, didn't we? Even promotion a couple of years back, it was a proper grind right until
and you look at 2010, you know what I mean? When really we should have been up by end of March that year, you know what I mean? But they got second place, didn't we? Get promotion that year.
So when Howard went in 1996, I guess I want to see what was it like inside the club at that point when he went, because the fans had pretty much turned, and there was the Man United 4-0, which was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. Do you think Howard? Do you think, I don't want to chuck you under the bus here, but do you think Howard had lost it at that point, or did he deserve more time? Or
no, I think, look, funny enough, I think at the time, I'm not sure, I think it was something like 5th in league or 6th in league.
Not far off,
We weren't far off there, you know what I mean? But I got the feeling, my own little feeling, this is only personal, that what happened at Wembley, it did seem to be a different person after that. And little things what you knew that probably, you know, at half time you come into a dressing room and players are having, we should be doing this, and then he'd come in and say, hey, you lot, shut up. This is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. And he seemed to lose a little bit of that after that. I just thought he just lost a little bit of that after that. You know what I mean? It wasn't as quite as, especially when you had the Palmers and these people all playing at that time, that seemed to just go a little bit. And yet we started off quite well the next year. But it also tied in with, and I think it tied in with them selling the club as well to this Caspian.
Yeah. So
I think that had a bearing. So whether he would have stayed anyway or whether he'd have kept him, and I think probably bringing George Graham in, because as you know, he'd been on a suspension because of what had happened at Arsenal with his thing. But I think he was very, very friendly with people from. So whether they would have said we're going to change the manager anyway, regardless, it could have been because look, we got beat by Man United, but it 4-0 or something like that, and it was it's. Yeah, we got beat. Yeah,
well, Cantona scored as well, didn't he? In that one,
he did, but he missed a penalty as well.
Yeah,
because I remember at half time he missed a penalty in first half. Because I remember at half time coming in, he said, "Well, look, I'll tell you what, they're feeling the pressure same as us because even the Cantona's missed a penalty." I remember that being said at half time and things like that. But like I said, it were for me personally, it were a horrendous weekend. Not just that, but my son's best friend in a bike ride, Matt Millen, got hit by a car. And he died the following day when we were all in. And I always remember going out. We all got called into the manager's office to say that, right, that's it. It's my last day. I've been finished. I'm finished. That's it. Paul Hart's taking over. He's taking over. And first thing Paul Hart said to me was, you better ring Oldham up and tell Gunnar Haller, because we've signed Gunnar Haller.
Right.
And he was due to come over that day. And just say, can you tell them to say Gunnar Haller, hold on there, not to come yet, because the manager's gone and the new manager. Well, I don't think Paul knew there was a new manager coming at that point, but obviously George Graham came in the next day.
So when did you get to speak to Howard then as he was leaving? And what does he say?
Not really.
Does he not?
No, not
Is
really.
Is it not like a final goodbye?
No. It was just more or less a general thing to everybody that were leaving. And I think I rang him maybe at home or something like that afterwards, what I mean? But that was it really, that was the end of it.
And presumably he would have been hurting at that point, so you've got words of consolation, even though you maybe clashed across the years.
Yeah, look, it would have, like I said, my relationship with him, purely professional, purely what they call it. I know he once said about me. I won't sit at a table, but at a dinner, and he was on top table, and just like us round here.
Yeah.
And I had person there. This is the early days of being at Leeds. And I must have got chatting with this person here, and I got chatting with that person there. And he said to me next day, he said, I can't believe how you could just, I'm watching you, how you can just start up a conversation with somebody you haven't even known in your life. And you're chatting with them all night, you chat with him all night about this. He said, there's people what paid money to be able to communicate with other people who are in top jobs.
Yeah.
But you see, I put that back to my life, being Plaggett and Kerber. I wasn't an only one. I had a sister, but she's 7 years older than me, so really, a big difference there. And it was up to me as a kid to learn how to, have friends or meet friends. Just my upbringing, living in Canada, which I talk a little bit about that when I landed in Canada, Toronto, no job, nowhere to stay, back in 1967. And so it was up to me to meet and communicate with people. It became second nature to me probably in life.
Yeah. So,
and I put in the book, so after that I thought, it was like him throwing me a bone, as a compliment, what I mean? So, but that's how it,
That was Howard's way of being nice.
That was Howard's way of being nice, what I mean?
Maybe recognising a bit of a skill in someone else that he maybe didn't have himself, I guess.
Well, I think he had it, but he knew a lot. Like I know Mick, I think you used to have tapes and that, to try and improve himself, communicate with people. And no, and I just, it's like anything, you're about your ball, scoring goals. You're on about I think the big problem with Eddie, well, definitely Billy. I think sometimes when they were managers, they expected everybody to be able to play like them.
Yeah.
And they could do what and they can't. They were, and I think, and I said, because Gary McAllister's still a great friend. And I said to Gary, when he was manager, and he had some of these players coming in, and then what you found is what I was saying to someone the other day. I said, to play at Ellen Road in front of that crowd, there've been some great players for other clubs. They've come to Ellen Road and they've really struggled because they, because they're in front of that, like...
Why is that?
Because they can be very unforgiving. And I'll give you a couple of examples, right? A lad who was at club who I rated really great, not only that, as a professional, he was brilliant. I thought, I couldn't take no away. He made maybe one mistake, two mistakes, and then you'd couldn't play him again. But yet then he went to another club, played in Premiership, got Player of the Year, and were in the team all the time. You know what I'm talking about?
No. Go on.
Stevie Craney.
Okay, right, okay. Yeah, thinking about it, yeah.
You remember in that bottom corner? And I think it was against Derby. He made a mistake and we got beat 1-0. But he knew the crowd would never, they'd be waiting for him next time to make a mistake. Yeah. And things like that.
The Leeds United left back curse.
I was going to say,
took a long time to get over.
And by the way, Ian Hart, I think he took a lot of abuse.
I think a lot of it goes back to Tony Dorigo being so good, probably. And so if he's the gold standard that you've watched, because I love Tony Dorigo, he's my favourite player. Yeah. And then everybody who follows after him, you want him to be as quick and as direct, and so Harty probably suffered by that.
You know, I know I mentioned it, but I was there that day. You know where he got his nickname from, don't you?
Which one? Tommy Dorigo.
Tommy.
Yeah.
You know where that comes from?
Where from?
That one came from when we just signed him. When we first signed him, he had to have an hernia operation, so he didn't play for a while. So when we got him back, we were over in Ireland, right, in Cork, and he was sub. And so obviously, said, right, we'll put him out last 20 minutes. So this Irish announcers, I was talking to him about it. Right. He said, Leeds United new £1.2 million player, Tommy Dorigo. And he said, when I talked to Tony about this, he said, you know what, worst thing more? He said, even the manager started calling me Tommy after that.
You just know when you're in a group of mates, like a group of blokes like that, it's never going to go on, is it?
I know. Like, even now, I think Kells and I still call him Tommy. Yeah. But I still call him Tommy. Like, you're Tommy Dorigo, you know.
Isn't it funny, like, when you were basically in charge of multi-million-pound assets, looking after their legs and making sure they could play. Do you ever kind of feel a sense of responsibility around that, where you're thinking, oh God, I've got to be careful here, this one's got expensive legs?
No, I just dealt with a person.
Yeah.
I just dealt with a person. Whether we're worth nothing, or, you know what I mean, or anything, it didn't matter. An injury is an injury, and everything like that. And what I was going to say, I was saying to you earlier, and I'll give you another example about, obviously, I was the physio for the first 7 years on my own. And then 93, and rightly so, Wilkinson decided that he brought Jeff Ladley back. Now, Jeff's a great friend, he got me a job in first place. But at that time, it was all changing. The Premiership was changing, Sky money were coming in. The players are saying, maybe we need more help, you know, I'm not sure about this. Fair enough. He brought Jeff in, so Jeff's in charge, I'm number 2. And everyone said, oh, Sutton's been dropped to number 2. But actually, now a lot of physios have said, right, that's it, I'm leaving, I'm not going to be, you know. But no, I accepted. I could, you know, from being a flagger and curber, and this is where I write back in, from being a flagger and curber, I'm at Leeds United as a physio. I started off as a glorified first aider, and I've ended up winning 2 championships. And I'm thinking, you know, but also I recognised at that time the stress of it all were getting harder and harder, you know what I mean? And it was very, very stressful. God knows what my blood pressure would have been at that point, because I know before I left it was 190, 110 after one game.
Right, that feels high.
That is when you should be 135, 80.
Yeah,
that was high, and that was after the Man City game when I went with bees to open. But no, so what I did, you see, where a lot of people would have said that's it, because I want charter and everything, and that's what they're looking at nowadays. And I said, no, what he'll do now, it'll give me time to just do a bit of private physio, but also learn how to play golf, because I always wanted to learn how to play golf. So, and that's the way I looked at it. So I can get on with other things I want to do, but yet I'm still involved with the first team, with everybody.
So you treat it as an opportunity rather than a door closing, yeah?
Of course, yeah. And also, I'm still going to be involved with the first team. I was already, you know, remember the time I do the first team, I do the reserves. So I'm travelling with the reserves. That's what I'm saying. That's why me and my wife never saw each other. And she was a nurse. Yeah. So she had, you know, she was a community nurse. So that's why I'm going back to this, that 40 years, never seen each other type of thing. And I think the only ones, obviously, that I followed more often, they're telling me to not to, were obviously I had 2 young children growing up. And obviously I never really got to see them as much time as I wanted to spend with them. But, you know, that's been, they've had no problem with that. And so this was it. But also, so at that time, So then I also be involved with the juniors as well. And you look at some of the players what came through them, so it gave me early doors of dealing with them. And I just treat them the same as I would first team or whatever, that's what I'm saying. So after the League Cup in 96, the juniors, because I'm involved with them, this is the start of another era, right? Then you've got the Woodgates, the Boyers, the Woodgates, the Robinsons, the Matt Fales, and all these people, you know, all coming through, you know, Adicules, they're all coming through. So I'm involved with them. And then we went, I really got to know them, we went to Dallas Cup, so I went to Dallas with them. That season they won the season before, 96, they won the League Cup, right? And that was the start. And what people don't think, I know everyone said it's only the first team, but, you know, you've got to get these players winning, you know, mentality of winning. And that year, and that's when Mark Jackson and people like that, I always remember with Lee Matthews, right, on the Monday before the League Cup final against Newcastle at York on the Friday, he took him to Blackpool. They did a bit of bonding. I think he took them all out of school with Eddie Ray, Paul Hart, and I think Robin Ray all went to Blackpool. Well, Lee Matthews had a problem, right, and he was like great striker for him in them days, for youth team. So I always remember, and I talk about this, so I said, right, is he fit? I said, well, it's 50-50 at the moment. So I'll tell you what, we're running from this pace to that pace. If he can run from this pace to that pace, then I'll consider him for Friday. So Lee said to me, Alan, so he said, I've no chance. I've not, honestly, you know, an ankle, you know. I said, and I'm looking around, I said, I'll tell you what, come on, here's what we'll do. I said, give us 5 minutes. Right, so I said, right. So what I did, I took him down to the sea, right, and put him in sea. Well, you know, cold sea is what you North Sea. And his ankle just froze up. Yeah. Right, he just went solid frozen. I said, right, what I'm going to do, you're going to run in the water. Then it doesn't look like you're limping around like that. And he run from pace to pace in the water, and we got through with it. He said, right, if you don't tell me anything else, what they call it, he said he's playing on Friday. And I spoke to Lee with him since then, and he just said, Alan, he said, you worked with me all that week, and I know you were mainly first team, but you helped me out. He played on the thing, got him. I put a strapping on, but more like a pot, you know what I mean? Yeah. I put, just to make sure. All I can say is, they won 2-0. He made the first and scored the second, and won 2-0. So, but the thing was, they started winning. That youth team started learning how to start winning, and they had that winning mentality, and that's where you start. Yeah, a little bit of that. Then the following year, they won the league and they won the FA Cup.
That's the FA Youth Cup.
FA Youth Cup. They won the FA Youth Cup, and then you started to get like the Woodgates and all that. And then of course that was during George Graham time. Then of course just after that he left, didn't he? Mm-hmm. So straight away O'Leary gets the job, and he put Stephen McPhail and Jonathan Woodgate into the first team against Forest or somewhere like that. So what I'm saying, look how many players you got out of that. Yeah. So he's getting that winning mentality, and even like the Paul Shepherds, I know he's doing time at the moment, but Paul Shepherd, Mark Jackson, right? Jacko, he's in the first team. Andy Cousin gets a run in the first team. That's from the 93 FA Youth Cup winning side. And this, but again, and then you look then to 2000, when obviously we're going to Europe, and obviously everyone sadly had to remind us yesterday about the two lads who obviously lost their lives in thing. And then you're into Champions League as well. You're in Euro. So you look at that 10-year from 90 to 2000, and what really the club did at every level. And also, after 97 winning FA Youth Cup, the following year, the reserves won the league, beating Man United, Liverpool for the league. People forget about that. People forget about the reserves, that even was a thing as well, because that's gone now, isn't it? It's the 23s now. But. Yeah, but the reserves, and they won the reserves. 97-98 season, they won the reserve league. And it was a lot of those young lads, wasn't it? Who were... A lot, yeah. You got Robert Molyneux there. People, You've got, obviously, you've got Lee Matthews, you've got Matt Phail, you've got Woodgate, you've got Mark Jackson, you had this Paul Shepherd, like I say, Damien Lynch, and all, who didn't quite just make it, but they're all. Andy Wright, who's now one of the coaches up there, he was all part of it, like, you know what I mean? Well, right, like. About setting a culture at a club, I guess, isn't it? And I guess Thorpe Arch helped with that as well as about pushing the club forward. Yeah, I think he did. I mean, obviously the manager wanted to do a separate place, and I can understand why, because for the first 10 years, you lived, breathed, played, everything was at Ellen Road, whereas when you went to Thorpe Arch, you only saw Ellen Road on a match day. Yeah. So it's like another big lift, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But then again, you see, then you look at Fulham car park, now, but when it were them two pictures, that were legendary in football around the world. That Fulham car park, obviously, damn United also showed you just what it was in them days,
Yeah, and the blue facade of the West Stand and all that. Yeah.
That's what I talk about that first day, right? And like I said, this is a little bit down to Wendy, my niece. She, taken on board, like she's trying to, because she's not really football, but she's trying to grasp everything, and that's how we did it. About when that first day there, I park my car up, which were an old banger, I think, in them days. But some Indian, I got a deal over in Bradford with some Indian people, and I walked through then and look up at the blue sign, and you opened that door, and I said, once I walked through there, every day had to be like the first day, because it could also be your last day as well, and that was the attitude you have to have. And I think that's probably with a lot of people. They get lazy and, they think they've got, I've
arrived now, yeah.
I've arrived, but no, it's every day you have to go with the same attitude and give it your best shot for everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was it,
Well, listen, I would say we've spoken for bloody ages now.
And I feel like we're still only about a third of the way through.
I know. But I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll do some more stuff. A couple more questions for our TSB Plus members as well. A couple of questions if you don't like to just hang around.
No problem at all.
So if you're a member, you can find those over on the TSB Plus feed. But thank you so much for coming in, and we'll give another mention to the book, which is My Journey there. Pavement, because you were putting down pavements and curbstones, weren't you?
If you look at
you've referred to it throughout this story, but we haven't explained that. That's what you started out as.
Yeah, I started up for the flag and curber.
Putting down pavements in Bradford.
Yeah, and also what happened then, I was playing football, I actually ended up, and there's a picture in there, I actually ended up playing for Bradford Park Avenue over the 4th Division team in their reserves.
Bigger than Bradford City as well, some would tell you.
Yeah. No, you're right. They'll always, I think at that time, they'd always get, if both teams were equal, Park Avenue would get at least 3,000 people more than what Bradford City would at that point. But, there's a photograph there, and I'm playing with, Kevin Hector, who went on to play for Derby County, and people like that, and Eric Burns, who was in there. I've just been in Australia, and I met up with him. I hadn't seen him in 55 years, and we met up while we were in Australia this time, and some great people.
Yeah, there's some great photos. I'm just flicking through, looking at the photos now of you with so many characters from the recent and not too recent history of Leeds United, and it's brilliant. I can't wait to read it, actually.
And obviously I spent a lot of time with Lucas.
Yep.
And there's a picture in there where we're at his wedding in South Africa, and it's Lucas for another who, wow, he came over, him and Phil Masinga, and everything, and that was another, just to spend time with him when he had this injury, and he'd been on a Sunday morning, and he'd tell you about life with a party and what happened to him, and I actually went to his house in Soweto, and if you saw where he lived, and to get out of there and then have a career in Premiership like he did, I think I did all right by being a flagger and curber. But I'll tell you, no compared to what he
I was going to say, I know it's a bit dangerous in Bradford sometimes, but you probably didn't get shot.
Bradford in them days, the 60s, was a great city, I'll tell you that. It was a fantastic city.
I lived there, it's still fine, it's all right, most of it.
Well,
some of it. But listen, Alan, thank you so much for coming. It's been brilliant, and I feel like we could do another 5 hours. So you stay there, and we'll get the camp beds out, and we'll stay up all night and do it. But sincerely, thank you, and please do go buy the book. It's available now. You can get it on Amazon and all good bookshops. I think
Leeds United have got it in theirs, and Waterstone said they're putting it in theirs as well.
If you're watching the video version, there it is on screen for you. That Alan Sutton, My Journey, and I'm going to say it's a brilliant read. I know it's going to be a brilliant read before I even get into it, so I look forward to reading that.
Problem is, I've probably told you half the story, so you might have to skip some of it.
No, there's absolutely bucket loads in there. Alan, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very much. Cheers.
The Square Ball Podcast.